The sun hung lazily over the horizon, casting a golden shimmer across the waves of Clearwater Beach. Lila was laughing, genuinely for the first time in weeks, as her friends ran ahead with towels and snacks, kicking up sand in a carefree flurry. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend. Sun, sea, and the kind of silly group photos that flooded Instagram. A break from work. A break from overthinking. But as she walked closer to the shoreline, her smile faltered. There, by the water's edge, was someone unmistakable. Ethan. Her boyfriend of nearly 2 years. His familiar dark curls tousled by the sea breeze. His toned arms wrapped around a girl Lila had never seen before. They were laughing, standing close. Too close. The girl reached up and playfully flicked a drop of water off his nose. Ethan leaned in. Their lips met. Lila stopped cold. The noise of the beach faded. Her heartbeat roared louder than the waves. "Lila!" her friend Maya called, noticing she had stopped. But Lila didn't respond. Her legs carried her forward before her mind caught up. "Ethan," she said, her voice low but steady. He pulled back instantly, like a boy caught with his hand in a fire. The girl turned too, frowning in confusion. "Lila, I thought you were out of town. On a weekend trip. With friends." "Like I told you," she said bitterly. "And this? Who is she?" The other girl blinked, stepping back. "Wait, you're his girlfriend." "I was," Lila said, looking Ethan in the eye. "Apparently not anymore." Ethan stammered something, excuses tumbling from his mouth like driftwood in the tide. But Lila wasn't listening. Her friends had come up behind her now, witnessing the scene unfold. The silence was heavy. The girl beside Ethan looked equally betrayed. "You told me you were single." Lila gave her a sympathetic glance. "Looks like he lies to both of us." Without another word, she turned and walked away, the wind at her back, her heart beating stronger with each step. The pain was there, raw and real, but underneath it, something fiercer was rising. She reached her friends, who wrapped her in warmth and support without needing explanations. The weekend would go on, different than planned, but maybe exactly what she needed. That day, Lila didn't just lose a boyfriend. She reclaimed her dignity. And on that beach, under the golden sun, she realized, some waves don't destroy you, they carry you back to yourself. Lila sat under the shade of a swaying palm, knees hugged to her chest as the sound of the ocean rolled in and out like a steady heartbeat. Her friends had spread out nearby, pretending to relax, but she could feel their glances, worried, protective, waiting for her to say something. She took a deep breath, the salty breeze cooling the sting on her cheeks. She wasn't crying. Not anymore. Maya sat beside her, offering a bottle of water. "You want to leave." Lila shook her head. "No. If anyone should leave, it's him." She glanced back toward the shoreline, but Ethan was gone. So was the other girl. Maybe they'd left, or maybe they'd just vanished into the crowd. Either way, Lila didn't care. Not now. "He didn't even look guilty," she muttered. Maya sighed. "People like him don't feel guilt. They feel caught." The words hung between them like storm clouds. Then Lila exhaled and stood up. "Come on," she said, brushing the sand off her legs. "Let's take that group photo. I need to show the world what freedom looks like." Her friends lit up, rallying around her like soldiers returning to formation. They posed by the water, Lila in the center, eyes gleaming. Not with sadness, but with something electric. Empowerment. Rebirth. Later that evening, as the sky blushed in pinks and oranges, they built a fire on the beach. Music played low from someone's Bluetooth speaker, and laughter danced with the flames. Lila sat cross-legged on a blanket, staring at the firelight flickering on her hands. "I wasted so much time loving him," she said quietly to no one in particular. "No," said her friend Sam. "You didn't waste it. You gave it. That says something about who you are. Not him." Lila looked up. "What does it say?" "That you're capable of real love. He just wasn't worthy of it." That night, she scrolled through old photos, laughing couple selfies, candlelit dinners, weekends in the city, and hit delete. One by one. Not with rage. Not with tears. But with peace. She didn't need proof of what she'd lost. She had evidence now of what she'd found. Herself. By the time Sunday came, she was walking barefoot through the morning surf, letting the cold water wash over her toes, the horizon stretching endlessly ahead. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A message from Ethan. "Can we talk?" She stared at it for a moment. Then typed. "There's nothing left to say. Enjoy the lies. I'm done. Luck. Delete." The waves rushed in again, tugging at her ankles, but Lila stood firm. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't waiting on someone to come back. She wasn't hoping for an apology, or praying for an explanation that could undo what she saw with her own eyes. Lila had always believed in second chances, until now. Some betrayals don't deserve a return ticket. And some endings don't need closure, just distance. As she walked further down the beach, her footprints trailing behind her like a fading memory, a child ran past chasing a kite, his laughter cutting clean through the morning air. It made her smile. It reminded her that joy still existed, unscripted, unburdened, uncomplicated. Life hadn't paused because her heart had been broken. It was still moving. And so was she. Back at the beach house, her friends were packing up. Maya offered to drive, but Lila asked for the keys. She needed the wheel in her own hands, literally and metaphorically. As they pulled onto the highway, music played from the radio, an old song she and Ethan used to sing along to. She didn't change the station. She just turned up the volume and sang louder. The past didn't scare her anymore. That night when she got home, the silence in her apartment was comforting, not crushing. She opened her journal, something she hadn't touched in months, and began to write. "Today I chose myself. Not because I was left with no choice. But because I finally saw my worth when he couldn't. I found betrayal at the edge of the ocean. But I left it in the waves." She closed the book, feeling lighter. The kind of lightness that comes after shedding a heavy coat you didn't realize you'd been wearing for too long. The following weekend, Lila returned to the beach alone. She walked the shoreline without fear of what or who she might see. This time she brought a camera, not memories. She captured the sunrise, the broken shells, the laughter of strangers. All reminders that the world was still wide, beautiful, and full of beginnings. As she stood facing the horizon once again, the wind in her hair and the ocean stretching out endlessly before her, Lila whispered to herself with a quiet smile. "Let him be the past. I'm walking toward better things." That evening, Lila sat on the sand alone, watching the sky melt into hues of gold and lavender. The beach was calmer than before. Fewer people, fewer voices, just the rhythm of the sea and her own breathing. She pulled out her phone one last time, not to scroll through memories or wait for messages, but to take a photo. Just the waves, the fading sun, and her bare feet in the sand. No captions. No filters. Just proof that she was still here. Still standing, still healing, still moving forward. Then she stood, brushed the sand off her legs, and turned away from the shore. With every step, she left behind a version of herself that once begged to be loved, begged to be chosen. Now she was choosing herself. And that was the real beginning.